Diode is excited about the future of Web3 and the future of a decentralized internet. And while we can support many, many different types of decentralized applications, tonight's demo is specifically a simple demonstration using the Diode Network in a fully decentralized way to share your local host website with anyone else on the internet, either in a public manner or in a private manner if you wish to restrict the number of people that are whitelisted to see that. I would like to introduce Yahsin Huang. Yahsin is on the Diode team and works closely with the engineering team and with myself to write articles and to help promote Diode and the work that we're doing here. And she's also a very accomplished author and blockchain and Ethereum researcher, and she'll be conducting us through the demonstration tonight. So please enjoy, and Yahsin, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks very much, Hans. So welcome everybody to today's event. We are going to do a really cool demo. So the topic today is publish your local web server to Web3 with Diode. Peter and I, we are here in Taipei. Hans is in Taiwan, and Dominic, CTO, is in Berlin, Germany with us. And welcome everybody. All right. So next slide. Right. So a little introduction. I'm Yahsin. I've been involved in the blockchain space since 2016. I've been with the Diode team since last year. I helped start Taipei Ethereum group in 2016, which is a group went from 10 people to over 2,000 people. And I started the Radical Exchange Taipei chapter last year. I like hiking, I like coffee, and I'm a big fan of Snoopy Dog. So next slide. So the agenda for today is a little introduction of Diode, and then the demo, and then Q&A session. So we will be happy to answer any kind of questions that you have. So the team, we have Hans, who is also with us. He's the CEO and co-founder, and Dominic, Letz is CTO and co-founder, and Peter and Greg and me. Sorry. All right. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I wanted to say these two pictures because this is Dominic when he went to DEF CON Osaka last year, and the below one is an event that we recently had with Raspberry Pi people. So the vision we have is we would like to see a thriving worldwide network operating on a fully decentralized infrastructure. So like what Hans did in the introduction, like we would like to see a decentralized web infrastructure, and we would like to be able to contribute in the Web3 ecosystem. So the demo that we're going to do is, so I'm going to move this a little bit. Oh, okay. So I want this screen to be able to, all right. So there are lots of use cases that you can do with Diode, right? So one of the use case is you can publish your local web server to Web3 with Diode, and it's very easy to do. I'm going to show you how to do it tonight. So these are the steps involved, right? So here are the 4 steps. The first one is you need to download the Diode client. The second one is you need to initialize it. And then the most important step is you want to publish your local port to the Diode network using the command line Diode publish. And then you can demo your website without deploying. Yeah. So I want to show you the end result first. So if you click this link, okay. So I'm going to put this link in the Zoom chat and in the YouTube live stream if possible. Or you can type it in your URL right now. So this link, https pi-yahsin.diode.link, is something that's very interesting. So if you type this in your web browser, you are able to view a blog that is currently running on my local computer. So what it means is I've got this ghost blog running on my laptop, right? But you're able to access it via the Diode Network. So this is something interesting for a lot of developers because if you're a web developer or you're an app developer, there are a lot of times where you need to demo your work, right? And you don't want to go into the trouble of deploying it. So this allows you to do that. So how are we going to do that? I'm going to show you. So this is a screenshot in case if you can't see it. So step one is you want to go visit our website, go to the download page and download Diode client. So we recently released the latest version. The version is 0.3.4. We released it yesterday with Peter and Dominic's help. So the latest version comes with 2 additional commands. The first one is style init, and then the second one is style BNS, and lots of other commands that you can do. So we are also going to talk about that. Or you can build it from source, right? So if you go to the GitHub repository, you can build it from source. The second step is you want to initialize the Diode client. So to do that, to initialize your Diode client, you need to open your terminal window and then type Diode init. So this does 2 things for you. Right, so one, it deploys a new Diode fleet contract. So a blockchain smart contract that manages permissions. 2, it whitelists the identity of your client. So your client address in the Diode fleet contract. So you can see the fleet contracts online right now. If you visit Diode's prenet website, there you should be able to see a list of fleet contracts that are already created. So what a fleet contract does, Diode's fleet contracts manage a whitelist of identities. So public keys of clients who can communicate with each other. Diode's fleet contracts have an API to configure secure communications, including client registration, client deregistration, protected or private connections, and other functions. So step 3 is the most important step in today's demo. So you've got it downloaded, right? And you got it initialized. You've got it up and running. And then what you can do is you can publish your local port to the Diode Network. So say my Ghost block, which is an open source publishing platform, it's really cool. It's beautifully designed. It's easy to use. I absolutely love it. So I've got this Ghost block running on my computer, right? What I can do is I can use Diode Network. I can download Diode client. I can get it initialized and get it up and running, and then publish my local port to Diode Network. So the command that you are going to use is Diode publish, right? Diode publish with the flag public. So my port is 3000. So I'm putting my example here. So this binds your local port to a Diode port. We are publishing it as public, but you can also do it with protected or private if you want only a selection of people that you want to show. And then step 4 is you are able to demo your website without deploying. So in your terminal, you want to look for client address. So I've got this screenshot here. This is what I did. So once you get it up and running, and then you want to publish, and then this is the place where you can find your client address. So people ask me how do I know my client address, right? So this is the place you can find. So you want to copy that address. So mine is it's basically a string of letters and numbers. So mine is 0x26 and so on. And then you want to paste it into your web browser's address bar, and you want to add .diode.link afterwards. So the entire URL will look something like this. So HTTPS and then 0x26, this is my client address, and then .diode.link. And now if you click this link, you can see my Ghost block website live from anywhere in the world. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the link, and this is a screenshot in case you can see it. So as long as the Diode client is up and running, you are able to see it. Um, so so people ask me like, is there any way to make the URL look better? So this is the little bonus for you. So you're able to configure a domain name, right? So your website address can use a human readable name. So instead of this long string of of letters and numbers, which is your client address, you're able to create your own custom domain. And how do you do that? So you can go to Diode's prenet website, and you can go to the BNS, which is blockchain name system, that allows you to create your own custom domain. So I chose the name I chose was Pi Yahsin. So I need a MetaMask crypto wallet, and you need to make a transaction, and then you create your custom domain. You can also do that with a command line. So you can use this command, which you need to get the latest version of Diode client, and then when you want to register your blockchain name system, you can use this command, which is styled BNS register, and then the name that you like, and then the client address. So what I did was style BNS registered Pi Yahsin, and then my client address, right? So this is what we got. Yeah, so like I said, instead of this long string of difficult to understand URL, you are able to create your domain names with a better URL. So yeah, that's it. That's it for me. I'd be happy to answer questions. And CEO Hans is also with us. CTO Dominic is with us. Engineer, blockchain engineer Peter is next to me. We would be happy to answer questions. Um, Before all the questions come in, I'd like to invite Dominic to speak a few words, if you like.
Sure, yes. Thank you for showing it. I'm happy to answer any questions. I think this is a pretty cool demo of like the first things we're making possible with the Diode Network. And we can see like the mesh network of the blockchain network that we have established here is actually running. And we didn't talk about a lot of technicalities, but for those people who know blockchain, this is actually all based on the Ethereum smart contract system. So anything that is an Ethereum smart contract can be deployed. We use that to manage these decentralized applications that we're building here. So there's a fleet contract that you mentioned earlier, Yahsin, that actually manages which devices are allowed to talk to each other devices. And so we can not only publish our sites and our ports to the public, but we can also publish them privately just to other people who we can identify using Ethereum addresses, or to protect it. That's what we call it, protected groups. So groups that are living within your fleet, for example. And this is really just the beginning. So the amount of use cases that you can grow from here is excitingly big. And we really try to start this with a nice command line client that you can use as an ngrok replacement, but fully decentralized. So there's no central authority. And would love to hear feedback from the community, what we can do better, how to best use this tool, and what the potential adoption could be of this kind of thing.
Any thoughts from Hans, maybe?
Yeah, I think Dominic's points on the advantages of decentralization for me is very personally exciting. I think that in general, the centralized internet today is requiring more and more personal information and more of your attention to be able to pay for it, frankly. And so that's one of the reasons we really like the path of decentralized Web3 and how we believe it will emerge. We have fully decentralized incentives, fully decentralized identification and trust, and so this is it's on the same level as centralized systems. Like, we're not giving up any type of technical capability. We're not cutting any corners. We're not pretending we're decentralized, but really running centralized servers for identity, etc. This is truly a decentralized way. And one of the really neat aspects of this as well is because of the decentralization, the built-in incentive schemes, is that actually we believe it will be much more affordable than the centralized internet over time as well. And so our main goal, short term here, is to build an ecosystem and to get feedback on the work that we've done, and to get people using get people using the Diode Network, get people using the Diode command line tool, and the different demos that we're putting out. And it works really well for streaming applications, and also anything that is a static application that you want to send somewhere that you're hosting yourself, like Yahsin's example is basically a static website hosted on her computer, hosted on a Raspberry Pi that we want to connect and stream to other places in the world. It works very well for those things. We're excited about your applications and also about potential partnerships in other areas that may be working on decentralized capabilities as well.
So I've got one question from my friend. So she asked whether how blockchain can be a game changer in the IoT industry specifically.
You want to go, Dominic?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of pieces to that. I think the first one is probably security and privacy, that I think is really important. So right now, when you buy an IoT device and you bring it online in any place in your home, it's actually completely intransparent what this device is doing, what data it's sending up into the cloud, and who potentially has access to it. So usually what we are seeing in centralized systems is that your IoT device is talking to some central server, and this central server has access permissions by some administrators or some people who need to install updates to these servers, but you really don't know. It's a black box for the customer who actually bought this device and has it at their home. And as a result of that, we have seen in the IoT world a lot of security issues where people can either hack into the devices directly, or they hack into the servers, or they hack in between into that connection between the server and the devices. And with IoT and blockchain, we see this possibility of decentralizing and creating transparency. So when we deploy a smart contract instead of a black box server application, then what we get is that as a user, we actually have a kind of guarantee what is running in the cloud. It's a smart contract that follows guaranteed rules and that we can also inspect. So as a user, we can actually ensure that over the whole lifetime of our IoT device, we know exactly what this device is going to do, what it's going to do with the data, and it's not going to change tomorrow. It's not going to change its behavior or its access points tomorrow or the day after, but ever again, because we have this blockchain guaranteed smart contract system. I think this is super important. And to add on top of that, by removing some of the human factors, like administrators who need access to centralized servers, maintenance, access codes, we're removing a whole dimension of security issues that can happen through people who are not careful, or people who accidentally leak keys or get spear phished by emails. None of that can happen to a blockchain system where the system is behaving automatically. And instead of relying on a single server that needs to be maintained, we're relying on the whole network. And if one server fails, some of the other servers actually take smoothly over the system.